Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast, where we explore holistic approaches to health, wellness, and personal growth. My name is Sophia Soul, the co-creator of Sacred You. On the show today, we are joined by the inspiring Elizabeth Watson, a certified mindset and manifestation coach, as well as an intuitive, empathic reader. Elizabeth combines science-backed mindset techniques with a spirit-led approach to help people bridge the gap between their lives that they have and the ones that they dream about. In this episode, we will dive into the power of dreams, mindset, and manifestation, and explore practical ways to start living your dream life every day. May you enjoy today's conversation. If you would like to dive deeper into this journey of self-discovery and help support Sacred You, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, or check us out at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, .love for more valuable resources and connections. So let's get started, and I hope you enjoy today's conversation. Welcome to today's episode, and with me is the beautiful Elizabeth, and we're having a wonderful conversation all about dreaming and our dream life. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Sophia. I'm delighted and honored.
And like I said, I'm actually, if I can say, I'm the honored one to be able to talk to you about our dream life. Just really, and how we can really live our dream life, and all about mindset and manifestation and everything else about it. So I'd love to start, Elizabeth. Let's get into it. What inspired you to live your dream life and help others to live their dream life?
Oh my goodness. I love this question so much. We'll dive right into the deep end. I like it. It truly is a culmination of my life experience and everything I've always been passionate about. After losing more than 6 years to severe clinical depression, where I was lying on the couch while my kids were growing up without me, eating snacks and stuff plugged in front of screens because I couldn't take care of myself, much less them, the way I wanted to, I began a healing journey for myself, oddly enough, by buying a dress. And from there, it was a cascade of events that helped me just finalize all of this understanding I had about mindset, and it clicked in with manifestation. Suddenly I was manifesting a new home, a new car, an effortless smile that I didn't actually have to force but could feel. I manifested a book deal, just this crazy list of things that happened. All of that while my kids got to watch me doing it, and I got to become the mother that they deserved. And now I'm a certified master life coach, as well as an intuitive empathic reader. And I get to help other busy moms who are crawling out of their darkest moments to get that future that seems like an impossible fantasy, to find that hope again, to find their power to manifest the health, the home, the relationships, all of these things that they've been longing for. And they get to show their kids the way, so that we're raising a whole generation of people who are not going to be limited, not going to be stuck inside the box thinking, and just know that they have the ability to shape their dream lives as their real lives.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's a wonderful thing. I said, I really am honored. I just want to honor you for doing that, for bringing that to the world and helping other women to live their dream lives. And as you said, raising a whole new generation, knowing that it is possible. So I'd love to know more, Elizabeth. Let's go into your personal experience. And you mentioned that you're able to manifest a book deal, a home, and all sorts of other things. How did you do it? What's the practical steps? Because we still have to live a life, and you as a mother, it's not like you've got all day of doing nothing. And people talk about manifesting. I just sit on the lounge and just daydream all day. That's not reality. So in your busy life, how do you navigate all the practical stuff and really being able to pursue your dreams? How did you do it?
This is the most fantastic question. And I love this because you're right. We see so many of these people out there who are sitting calmly in Zen spaces on a beach or by the pool, meditating. And it just looks very calm and wonderful. And they're talking about all the amazing things they manifested. Whereas I am a homeschooling mom of three, and I don't have the chance to zen out even if I'm going to the shower. That doesn't happen alone at this stage in my life. So, what I love to bring to the table is a way to do these amazing things in a practical setting. I like to tell people that I have trialed by fire everything I'm going to share with you, some cases literally. And it's not as crazy as a lot of people would think. And the reason that I think a lot of this works is a system that I put together because of my own life experiences. I talk about it as my Betwixt method. So it's all about getting you betwixt or between where you are right now and bridging that gap to where it is you want to be. And there's three really powerful steps that I work with people on it. And the first one is this belief, because there is so much that we will do without realizing to self-sabotage. If we don't have a foundation of belief in ourselves, in what's possible in the world, and what we're doing to get to this dream life, we're gonna find ways to knock ourselves down all the time. That inner critic's gonna come out. We're gonna procrastinate. We're gonna let fear make all sorts of decisions. So I really do start with getting to the root of the stories that tell us you can't have that. That's not possible for someone like you. You're a mom. You can't do that. All those sneaky little things that stick in our brains. And without us knowing it, subconsciously, we perpetuate a cycle that we don't want. So, rewiring that, shifting the story, becoming the editor of your own life so that you can rewrite to an ending that you want becomes really powerful. And then the next stage we work with people on is empowerment. And this is a really trendy catchphrase, especially in the coaching world. But when I talk about it, what I mean is understanding your unique whole self healthy life balance. And this is what I found to be really pivotal because of my depression journey. This is understanding what you need to be physically healthy, yes, but also mentally, emotionally, spiritually healthy, socially, like all of these components that make us our whole happy best self. Each and every one of us has a unique balance when it comes to these things. It's based around our core values, the roles we want to play, the things we want in our life. And when you understand yours, and there's a visual process that we go through that's really exciting and fun for people. When you understand it, then you can really make informed and empowered decisions about how to shift the things that are not so great. So if your career is not really bringing you joy, how can you begin to move that in a way that doesn't sacrifice your time with your family, that doesn't shut off all of your time with your friends, completely disconnect you from your spirituality and your intuition? You can be really intentional with this, and you don't let fear make those choices anymore because you can see it, you can conceptualize it, and even better, you can proactively plan for when something starts to get a little off. Because inevitably, we all have life that happens, right? Something comes along and knocks the feet out from under you. Can't do much about that, but you can control how you react to it. And if you're aware of what the things are that really make you feel balanced and whole and healthy and happy, then you can make plans for what happens when that stuff starts to wobble. So your whole house of cards doesn't fall down, which I found the hard way. So I walk people through how not to go through that same mistake. And then finally, we get into what I call the transformation stage. And this is where you get to trigger the universal law of action. Everybody knows about the law of attraction, right? But it's not the only law, and it doesn't work in a bubble. It works conjointly with several others. And the law of action is a really powerful one. And so here's the things where we get into, my Virgo side loves these because I get real technical and get into the meat of it and the goals and the scheduling and the things that you can do to get your hands on it and feel like you're doing something to make this happen. And when you work all of these pieces together in this Betwixt method, it's amazing what just starts to fall in your lap. It all just becomes way more effortless. And this is not talking about, oh, you find 30 minutes in your day, oh, you set aside an hour for this. No, we all have exactly 24 hours in a day. Some of that we really should be using to sleep. And our children are going to dictate a lot of that for us moms. This is about being really smart with the time you have and finding those pockets of time where you can bring a few of these elements in and make use of the time that you have. And one of my favorite things to do is talk to moms about, okay, so when you're washing the dishes, if you're anything like me, you hate that never ending cycle of, okay, I just cleaned them and there's more. I'm just going to be here for the rest of my life washing dishes. You can use that time when you have tools that you know how to utilize. It could be a visualization time. It could be working on affirmations. It could be any number of tools that we work together on. And suddenly you're looking forward to those times because you're using them for something that really matters to you instead of it being this drain and dead space in your day.
Yes, and especially when you do the monotonous activities, the things that are done on autopilot, we can use that. They talk about multitasking, but that to me is really what multitasking is and for, is that whether, whatever it is, if it's washing the dishes, if it's safe to do so, you're not washing anything majorly sharp, or going for a walk, that you can use that time for yourself, whether
Yeah.
it's visualization or your affirmations and stuff. So thank you.
Brushing your teeth, washing your hair, all of these things that we've gotten, like you
Shower.
said, on autopilot.
Yeah,
And we can stack all of these really healthy, positive, momentum building tools into that time. And suddenly we've reclaimed it.
absolutely. And especially when you're having a shower. Especially when you're having a shower. You take that time because that's your time. And I know for a lot of mums, it's not always your time, but as much as you can, it's your time. And I even tell people, if you need to get away, we all have to go to the toilet. Just find a couple of minutes. That's it. Close the door, lock the door. I don't think anyone's going to come in and bother you when you're in the toilet. But thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And I love how it's all about becoming an editor of your own life, because it really is. This is our life. We're the ones in charge of it. It's no one else's responsibility. It's our life. Yes, stuff happens to us. Stuff happens to everyone. But as you said, it's how we respond to that is the biggest thing. So I'd love to know more, Elizabeth. I know you're a mindset and manifestation coach, but you've talked about science-based mindset techniques. Tell us more about that, about the techniques that are science-based.
So a lot of it is stuff that we've already mentioned. The science behind what we talked about with multitasking, the science of that, the psychology and the neuroscience is called stacking. It's called stacking, and there's something that happens in synaptic stacking and things like that when you are taking these very ingrained thought patterns, these perspectives, these habits of thought and behavior and belief, and rewiring them. It works with a lot of the tools that you'll have heard about. Affirmations. I had a love-hate relationship with affirmations that was very hate for many years because I never could resonate with the I am love, I am light, I am receiving all good things from the world. Like that just didn't work for me. It didn't resonate. I didn't believe it. And so when I work with people, I work with them on coming up with these very targeted affirmations that are very personalized and so become incredibly powerful. And they don't even qualify as affirmations by the time we're done. Some people have called them mantras, intention statements, spells. I talked to a hypnotherapist who said, "You're giving people hypnotic suggestions there. You realize that?" I was like, "Don't tell anybody." They'll get scared. But all of these things actually have science behind them. Each and every tool that I use I can show you like the studies and the things behind it. They're all things we've been looking into, but for years and years. Even visualization has been studied by psychologists because the peak performing athletes, business owners, actors and actresses, artists, they will use visualization and have been using it for generations. And science wanted to understand, why was there a quantifiable improvement in their performance when they utilized it? And I could go down a rabbit hole with that, but basically everything I use has some form of science behind it. And there's also spirituality behind it. And we talked about the metaphysical universal laws, and there's also intuition that comes into play. And I love finding how science and spirituality talk about the same thing. There's all this semantics involved, but really we're asking and answering the same questions. We're just using a different lens when we come at it. Spirituality will talk about manifestation and the law of attraction, and science will talk about quantum physics.
Which is the same.
Exactly.
It's just different words and coming from that different area. And you're quite true. Behind all these techniques, there is a science backing because people are using it more. And
Exactly.
Top performing people in our world use certain techniques. So of course they're going to investigate it and study why is someone so successful, the techniques that they use. So they study that. So thank you for sharing that. And for you personally, Elizabeth, what's been the most surprising insight that you've gained from blending the science and the spirituality?
I mean, I'm a geek that way. So there's always another rabbit hole I want to go down, always another correlation I want to find. And I think that's the thing that I find the most enjoyable and surprising is that you will always find a pair for whatever you're looking into, whether it's the spiritual concept or the metaphysics. There's always going to be a scientific correlation. There's always going to be something that has been studied on both sides. And it's just enjoyable to me to find where they intersect, where you go, okay, this is the same thing. You get a giggle out of it because if you told that to a scientist, they'd have a hissy fit. And if you told that to a holy person or a guru or somebody, they would talk to you about how you're just very confused, my child, that you're being misdirected. Don't fall into the trap. But it's the same thing. Science and magic have been the same and blended since the dawn of time. We just choose which way we want to use to understand the miracles in our world.
Yes, and even as you said, since the dawn of time, there was, way back when they used to honor all the divine feminine in all the rituals, and that's the divine feminine in us all, and things like that. So it's all using that science from that and all the astrology, because an astrology is a science as well, and all the rituals, they're all science-based, and moving it over and bringing in the spirituality. Again,
exactly.
Thank you for sharing.
And it's such an exciting time because we're in this time where modern medicine is advancing at incredible rates and we're learning how to do the most amazing things. And at the same time, they're relearning things that our ancestors and wise women and shamans were doing because they're finally getting out of their own way and looking back at it. We look at things like epigenetics, where you can literally think yourself out of these crazy conditions that Western medicine would tell you there's no cure for.
I know, but there is if we go into it. And talking of that, if you've got someone who is feeling stuck, really feeling stuck between where they are and where they want to be and not really sure about this law of action and manifesting their dreams. They really want to get into their dreams, but they've got no idea. What advice do you give them? Where do they start in this minefield of possibilities?
Oh, that's an amazing question because it really is. Now we have Google, so we have access to all the wealth of information across the world. Whether or not it's accurate or helpful is a totally different matter. But I think the first step is really being curious, being aware that you want it, and being curious enough to start looking for options. And that's completely an internal process. Everyone's going to be ready at their own personal time. And until you're ready, it doesn't matter what advice I give you, you won't do anything with it or you'll do the wrong things with it. But when you are truly ready and you know that you are, and you know that it's your time, then the best piece of advice I can give you is don't do it alone. We have gotten to the place in our society where we have convenienced and optimized things until we have instant abilities to do so many different things. And at the same time, as a result, we've isolated ourselves increasingly. even before COVID was a thing, even before we had quarantines and social distancing, we were getting to a place where screens were more and more separating us from our interactions with people. And that only becomes more and more true. And don't get me wrong, I love my technology. I would be a very cranky person if you took my tech away from me. But we are seeing more and more that people are losing the ability to make these connections with each other, and they're feeling more isolated, and they're feeling more, okay, I have all these tools, I should just do this, right? I could look it up on Google, I should just do it myself. And you can, but people were not meant to be operating completely alone. The quote, "no man is an island," resonates strongly with us for a reason. We are social creatures. We have been communal creatures more often than not. And it's a shame and something we need to work against, that people do not feel that they can reach out. You know, there's a common phrase that moms like to talk about, that it takes a village to raise your kids, whether that's your family and support structure, your community, your friendships, your spiritual congregation, whatever's coming together to help you through that process, it makes a difference. The same is true for this. You do not need to do it alone, and it's going to be a lot harder, a lot more messy and painful, and you'll probably risk giving up before you get to the good stuff if you try and do it completely on your own. I often talk to moms about this. Get out of your own way, ask for some help, and then accept the help. Be open to getting an accountability partner, a study buddy, a community around you. Or if you really want to fast track this and have quantum leaps that result in things that you could hardly imagine at this moment, get a mentor or coach, someone who's already walked this path and can jump you over the minefield that they went through, over the pitfalls that they went through, so that you can benefit from their experience and get to your happily ever after, your dreams come true as your daily life, that much faster, because you deserve it.
You don't you? And like I said, it comes much more faster, especially when we're working with others. And I totally agree with you, because we're not meant to be alone. That's one of the biggest things with Sacred You, is that we're here to offer the women of the world, and men too, but especially the women, and a platform to connect. Yes, it is through the wonders of technology that you and I are connecting. We're on the other side of the world and we're connecting and having a wonderful conversation. And totally agree. You take the tech away and I'm going, not sure what's going to happen now. But it's also taking us away from ourselves. And we need that in-person connection as well. And you need to develop that support thing. We're not meant to be alone. Also, one of our mottos for Sacred You is that no woman is meant to be alone. We are all here. Sacred You is your family. It's your spiritual family. It's one click away, whether it's online or in person. So yeah, totally agree with you. And gather with other like-minded women. You attract the people in your life that are interested in the same thing that you're interested in. There's so many opportunities in the world today.
And I love that you bring that up, because, and thank you for the work you do, because it's so incredibly powerful to bring people together. And when we think about the structures of the way that most societies are designed right now, it's very masculine in that there is a very linear progression, right? You have the people at the bottom and the people that climb steadily to the top. And it's very much the linear style, whereas the feminine is circular, and it always has been, because there is no beginning, there is no ending, there's no head, no bottom. And the more you're in circle, the more you amplify each other. The energy continues to build as it continues to be shared amongst everyone. And so, like you were talking about, being in a community of like-minded individuals is so powerful. It amplifies everything you're doing personally, and it allows you to lift somebody else up. And so as you do, everyone benefits. And it's this beautiful synergy that makes everyone better.
It is, isn't it? We, sometimes it does help to be with others, even if we're not feeling totally empowered ourselves. What I realize, Elizabeth, and you may have experienced this too, a lot of times, especially women, we forget that we're all on a similar journey. And we are actually all can inspire others. We're all inspirations. Just surviving in this world is an inspiration, like you know, coming here and sharing your journey and your story, being a mum of 3 children, homeschooling them and having a business and everyone else. That is an inspiration for someone out there who's sitting, you know, alone going, how do I do it? They can be inspired by you. And we all do that in our own way, because we all go through
Absolutely.
not the same, right? We all have different lives, but similar experiences because we're on this planet.
Absolutely. And I talk a lot about there's a big movement that I love lately that as the feminine becomes more in the forefront, our bodies are literally in cycle at all times. Even when we're before puberty and after menopause, there is always cycle to our bodies. And it's the same as the cycles of the seasons and the cycle of the world around us. There are times when you are dormant, when you are restive and you are gathering energy. And there are times when you are bursting into life. And there are times in between those things as well. And when you're in one of your stages where maybe things are falling apart and things are shutting and the things that need to fall away are falling away so that you can get to a restive place, then it can help to be around someone who is coming out of dormancy and into vibrancy and into bursting into life and into manifesting all of these amazing things, because it gives you that hope. You know that there's going to be a return of the light. There's going to be a return of your energy. It is always in cycle. And being able to see that in action can be so powerful when you're in those low places.
It's true. Totally and absolutely true that, you know, just being with others, like-minded people like yourself. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'd love to know, Elizabeth, now tell us, if I can ask you, what does living your dream life look like? And how
Oh,
are you doing to make that happen in a physical way?
oh my goodness, this question. I often joke that you should never ask a manifestation coach what their vision of the future is unless you have about 3 hours to sit down and listen, because we'll tell you and we'll tell you in detail. But I'll attempt to can be concise. For me, living my dream life is actually just more of what I'm doing now, which is amazing because never before in my life could I have said that before I came to this realization, to this calling, to this business that I'm building and the work that I'm doing. It's just amazing that I get to be with my family, because family is one of my core things. It's absolutely pivotal and essential to the core of my being, is being a mom and being a wife and being in home. I often tell people I'm home centric. Don't invite me to parties. I just want to be home. I want to be baking, playing games with my kids, dance parties in the living room. And I get to do that every day. And I get to watch my kids growing up in the most beautiful ways. And at the same time, I get to be doing work that lights me up, that honors all sides of me, the geek that loves psychology and neuroscience, and the seeker who loves tarot and reading and tapping into intuition and studying the universal laws, and sharing that with other people, giving service, which has always been such like I was doing it before I knew what I was doing. It was just an element of myself that has always been present. And as I progress, my life continues to just bring in more of that. It's more chances to work with people and the ability to make impact on their lives and their children's lives so that we can improve the next generations. It's more books, putting out more books as I am working with my publisher. It's speaking and bringing more awareness to the fact that this is attainable. This is absolutely something that anyone can do, and you do not have to be in this monk monastery in Tibet in a vow of silence, meditating for 3 weeks at a time to make it happen. And it's continuing to better myself. I am receiving coaching at this time, and I will continue to receive coaching because I will never know it all. And the moment I do is probably the end. There's not going to be much more after that. I'm a lifelong seeker of knowledge and experiences. And it's just more of the same. It's, taking time to take care of myself on top of all of that so that I can honor the vessel I've been given and show up for the calling and the purpose that I've been gifted with everything I have. And knowing that at the end of the day, when I close my eyes at night, every dream that I could have for myself, for my kids, for my husband, and for the people I get to be with is going to be that much closer to realization when I wake back up.
It is, isn't it? The dawn of the dream life, because you're putting it into practice. Thank you. I'm just taking a moment just to absorb everything that you've said. And that is really amazing. So again, thank you for sharing that. And you are an inspiration. Now, we will be putting your links in below our podcast, whether people are watching it or listening to it. Do click on those links and reach out to Elizabeth if you'd like to know more. So in what ways do you help others?
Oh my goodness. So I love this. I would love to gift anyone who is enjoying what we have to say and would like to know more. I actually have a download that I'd like to gift you. It's called my 3-minute manifestation hack. Because as I've said, we don't have an abundance of time, but that doesn't mean we can't do these things. So that is my free gift to you. You will be able to click to download that and get that download for yourself. It's a beautiful book that I loved that I put together, just a quick little PDF. Another way that I work with people is with my 12-week program, which will be expanding to 16 weeks as soon as I have the time to finish the modules. But this is where I guide you through the Betwixt method that I was talking about. I give you all of the steps. I walk you through how to do it very practically. And this is so powerful because it's infinitely repeatable. As soon as you get done manifesting something with this method, you can start right back again with an even bigger and more amazing manifestation and use the Betwixt method to get there again. And that includes just all of the community as well. It's a hybrid program so that you're doing it with like-minded individuals at the same time as you are doing all of this work on your own manifestations. And if you would like to know more about that, there's going to be a link that you can follow in the notes to have a consultation with me. I actually would love to gift you as well a 30-minute consultation. I call it the Manifest Your Dream Life session. And we dive deep into what those dreams you have are, what might be holding you back, or what has tripped you up from manifesting it in the future. And I will gift you resources and talk to you about how we can get you there today.
I love it how you say that. Not next year, not next lifetime, but today. Let's start today. And that's the thing. It's the law of action, taking action and creating your life now. We're talking about manifestation, Elizabeth, but there's still people in the world that have some misconceptions or a little bit skeptical about being able to manifest. So how do you clear that up? What do you say to someone who goes, manifestation doesn't work?
I love those people. That's my favorite conversation. One of my favorite conversations to have is when they say, oh, manifestation doesn't work. It's hooey. It's just woo. To which I say, yeah, you know what? You're manifesting all the time. You're manifesting right now. You can't not. And I talked to people about this. I was like, have you ever woken up and you woke up late? The alarm didn't go off or you hit the snooze too many times. You wake up late and you stumble out of bed and you stub your toe and you're making your coffee and you spill it on yourself and you get on the road and you're in traffic and you get to work and there's the meeting you forgot about and you don't have the papers for it and you just sit there and you go, oh my God, this is the worst day ever. And magically, it maintains its status as the worst day ever, right? The dry cleaner lost your clothes and you forgot the milk when you went to the grocery store and now dinner's a mess and the kids are angry and everything's just a flop, right? From start to finish, worst day ever. The reality is you manifested that. And it sounds simplistic, but what we focus on is what we receive more of. And this is not just manifestation woo speak. There is science behind this in the fact that we have a reticular activating system. This is a part of your brain. It is the focus part of your brain, actually. And one of my coaches talked about it as when you're in the airport and you're surrounded by this cacophony of noise and activity, the security and the other people hurrying to their gates and everything. But above all of that din, if they announce your flight number, you hear it. It doesn't matter what else is happening. You have heard that, and now suddenly you're booking it to your gate. That is your reticular activating system. What you tell it is important, it will filter out to find more of. So when you tell your brain, this is the worst day ever, it will find more things to reinforce that because you told it to focus on that. And this is an incredibly subconscious thing that most of us never take any sort of control over, but it is happening all the time within you. Another example is, have you ever had that conversation and you're trying to remember that one movie that you're telling somebody about and you could never remember the name? And it's 6 hours later and you're brushing your teeth and you're like, total recall. That's your reticular activating system. You gave it a message that you wanted to remember the name of that, and it went to work until it found something that triggered the memory and it fed it to you. Your focus engine is what feeds your reality or your perception of reality. So you are manifesting all the time. It's just by and large, we're doing it unconsciously, unintentionally. And if you take control of that's when magic happens. That's when amazing, miraculous things happen that were around you all the time. You just didn't tell your reticular activating system to focus on them.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I agree. We are manifesting, whether you see it as a positive or not so positive, we are manifesting constantly. We're manifesting the people in their lives. We're manifesting what happens to us. And it all starts with what we're thinking about in that system, what we're putting in there. Like you said, what we focus on, what we give energy to grows and stuff. So thank you. Thank you for that. And Elizabeth, I'd love to know, before we finish up our conversation, I've got a couple more questions, but for you in your life, how do you recharge your energy when it gets overwhelming? What's the one practical tool that you use to keep going, to keep yourself grounded and connected throughout the day?
I think if I was going to narrow it down to one tool, I would say self-awareness. I think that's the most powerful thing because each and every one of us has our own unique way of energizing. Some people are really lit up when they're in a creative project, and other people are really needing their downtime. And everybody is unique and individual with that. The only way you're going to know how you work is if you are aware of yourself, if you can be really honest. Okay, yes, I feel sluggish right now, but that's probably because I haven't gotten up and moved around. I should probably get in motion and then I will naturally energize my body and I'll be ready to do some more. Or, man, I'm so burnt out. When was the last time you took a break and had a sip of water? When you think about it, you got in the zone and naturally you've worn yourself down. So being really self-aware allows you the ability to go, okay, I just haven't taken care of myself physically, or I am genuinely on empty and I need to rest. And the more you're aware of your own ability and what you need in that, the more powerfully you can service it. Maybe it is physical activity, maybe it's drinking water, eating something, sitting with meditation to recharge yourself. Or for me, one of my favorites is cuddling my kids and remembering why I do this.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much for sharing this. And it's been a wonderful conversation. But is there any other question that I could have asked you? And how would you answer?
Oh my goodness. Curveball question I love to answer the most is what I would say to especially the mom who feels like she just doesn't have time, she doesn't have energy, she doesn't have any of the capability to do this stuff. What would I tell her? What advice would I give her? How could she do this? And my answer will always be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do, and that's accept that you're worthy of it. Accept that you are infinitely worthy of it. Because my perspective, my reality, and the thing I talk about a lot is that we have these dream lives, we have these desires, these wishes, these goals, because it is a message from the universe, spirit, the divine, whatever you want to call it. Those things are there in our minds because it's a message. That is the life that we are meant to live. That is what is possible for us. But we have free will, we have choice. We get to choose whether or not we're going to claim it or settle for sameness and mundane. And I want to challenge you to accept that you are worthy of amazing things, that there is magic inside of you that you deserve to tap into, that you deserve to have support in cultivating, and that everything you've dreamed about is 100% possible for you, and you do deserve it.
I love that. And again, I'd just like to honor you for saying that. and you do deserve it. There is magic inside of us, inside every single person, no matter what our circumstances are. There is a magical spark of energy that we do deserve our dream life, and we have the capabilities of bringing that to a reality, especially with the amazing women like yourself, Elizabeth, who are there to help and guide people and stuff. Now, I'm pretty sure you help people online through the technology that we have.
Yes, thankfully, technology is the way that I do the majority of my business, because homeschooling 3 kids means I have very little ability to go outside. And it is such to be able to take a pause in their school day and let them go get a brain break and wiggle and have fun while I get to plug into a conversation with an amazing client, helping them bring their dreams to reality. I do a ton of things online, both with my clients and in my community. I offer a lot of resources in my Facebook group, and that is absolutely free to join. You are welcome to come and see what we do, see if it resonates for you, and see if the community is something you'll enjoy. And I am so grateful for everyone who has joined this journey with me.
Thank you. And I'm so grateful that you've come and had a conversation on the pathways to being, because it's all part of our well-being. You know, it's manifesting a life of well-being in all areas. And we have the power to do that. We have the ability to do that. It's just, you know, some people need a little bit of coaching. And that's why, for everyone who's watching, reach out and take Elizabeth up on her offer just to have a conversation. Join her Facebook group, because it's all there. All these tools are there to help support us and guide us, and to help guide us to make our life into a dream, to really start living our dream. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Sophia, for everything, for having me, and for all the work you do in the world.
What a wonderful conversation with Elizabeth. We do hope that her insights on mindset manifestation have inspired you to take steps towards your own dream life. Click on the link below and reach out to Elizabeth if you would like to know more. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, give us a like, or share this episode with someone else who would benefit. And don't forget, you can explore more resources and connections for personal growth and community at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U. Remember, growth starts from within. Every step you take to believe in your worth and connect with your dreams brings you closer to a life filled with purpose and joy. Thank you for tuning in, and have a beautiful day.